So there you have it. All right, here I am recording this once in a lifetime day on this, the day in the year of our rulers, June 22nd, 2025. It is now something like 5:40 in the morning. And this is not the first time I'm seeing this tonight. I mean, that's just so funny. Now, how do we get up to the next level? We can't. Okay, so we're going to climb there and then scale it. So let me pause this. All right, we're trying to get, what are we trying to get to? We're trying to get to there. So we're gonna climb up there and scale it. All right, so here I am. I made it. I jumped from up there down to here to retrieve this. Da, 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 da. Oh, life is beautiful. Life is magical. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Thank you, whatever your name is, for another wonderful, wonderful souvenir. One that I've been meaning to acquire for quite some time now. And on this the day, I have decided to acquire it. In fact, the occasion occurred where I happened to be walking by it at the break of dawn, and I said, now or never. And this brings us to, look at how pretty that is. Look at how pretty that is. This brings us to the lesson of today's early morning activities, is that it's now or never. And I could go on, I have a lot to say, but I will reflect upon the happenings of the past, 3 hours? 6 hours, maybe longer. In fact, it all started when everything changed while sitting in a restaurant in Petit Maghreb, and I was, how do I put this? I was shown the truth, you know? I was shown the truth. Once you see the truth, you cannot deny the truth, because the truth will set you free. Yes. Yes. What do they say? Curiosity killed the cat. Let's take a walk. Let's do a walk and talk. Show you around my neighborhood. This is a daycare, which, much to my surprise, operates on weekends. Now, that's a whole subject for another video, but we're not going to get into it in this one. There's the very famous, biggest drug dealer in Canada, part of the Shoppers Drug Mart. empire. That's Quebec for you, okay? So in Quebec, they can't call it Shoppers Drug Mart. They have to call it Pharmaprix because of the French language laws. It's a thing. Look into it. Then you have the very famous, very much appreciated, in fact, one of the few fast food chains that I myself participate in, Subway. They do have a decent veggie sub. And the Renaissance, how appropriate, Renaissance, rebirth. Done, which means give. Along with a mon Dieu. This is for everyone's, all those pet lovers out there, animal lovers. This is the stop of the 24 bus. This is one of the longest bus routes in Montreal. It runs east and west, starting at Villa Maria Metro and ending right here on the corner of Sherbrooke and Montgomery. There you have it. I just doxed myself. Well, psych! I don't live there anymore. So, up this way we have some industrial-sized, commercial-sized dump bins that get emptied out. I'm assuming we have our déchets seulement, which means garbage only. And there's someone having a good time. That's Ken. Je m'appelle Ken. No, none of this. There's none of that here, okay? Make sure you understand that. This guy, I'm not too sure. I mean, he just looks like a very old version of the same thing. And this guy, if I am not mistaken, is the recyclage, correct? Correct. Ah, yes, someone has gone ahead and tagged it. Let's observe the tag. What does it say? There is a $, which is the symbol for slavery. In fact, it's the S with 2 nails through it. It's funny because I have a money collection, okay? You may or may not know this. I have a money collection from around the world, courtesy of the multiple countries I've visited and others have visited and brought back to me. So, funny enough, that the US dollar, that's that sign right there, the US currency, courtesy of the Federal Reserve Bank, along with the Canadian dollar. In fact, let's just double check that. I think I'm correct. Do I have a fiver? I think I have a fiver, so we're gonna double check that. Together forever. In fact, together forever. What happened to my $5 bill? Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom of my pocket. So, we'll verify that the US currency, along with the Canadian one, it is a Canadian dollar. Nowhere does it have that symbol. So that's interesting. It's even more interesting, and I know this because I have a money collection. Look at that. It says it all. Enough said. Let's look at the numbers on this. INH 13. Woo! The number of rebellion. Jesus was the 13th apostle. 61. 22, today's date. And 4. Well, yeah, we could say 6 is the 6th month. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. And 22 is the actual date. So a rebel on the 6th month doing something for the first time you know, first day of the rest of my life as well. Every day is the first day of the rest of your life. 22, there's your date. And 4, which represents the earth. Oh, and what do you know? Look at that. Of course, it ain't complete without the 33. So enough said. They have to put the 33 there because of that. And that the 33 is code that is what it isn't. and of course the globe. But so yeah, the 33. Anyways, I digress. What makes it even more curious that that's a fact, there's no dollar symbol on American or Canadian money, is that every other currency that uses a dollar, such as the Fiji dollar, there's a whole bunch of islands. I think there's countries in the Caribbean that have the dollar. All on those notes of those countries, there's the Pizza Hut, which I used to participate in until I realized that they have such a high turnover in employees that it's practically impossible to teach someone how to make a good pizza and then stay in this employment. So I got tired of paying $66 for uncooked pizza dough. What was I saying? Yes, and I can confirm this, verify it when I do get to where I am eventually going back to. I will take some photos and put them in this video of said money collection, and we will, I will prove what I am saying. So here is Port Effernet Verdun. Okay, so if you want to spend $50,000 to replace, let's call it 10 windows in your home or property, you call these guys. Okay, $50,000, 10 windows. That's about that is $5,000 per window. And what they're gonna do, people like this, companies like this with the V, are going to send maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 guys to your property. There it is, if you want the address. Huh! That's so funny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those numbers. So these guys, what they'll do when you take a contract with them, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here, you're gonna sit down with one of the salespeople, okay? And they're gonna show you all the options: doors, windows. Let's take a good look at a really fancy showroom. It's lovely, okay? I mean, really, best doors ever, all right? And for $50,000, you can replace. I mean, look at that! Look at that bad boy. I mean, now if that's not a you can't really see it, but anyways, you get the point. So they're gonna send 3, 4, maybe 5 guys. Let's call it 5 guys to your property, and in, let's say, 2-3 days, they will install 10 brand new windows on your property, onto your property, at your property, whatever the property is. If it's a revenue property, if it's a private residence, I'm gonna walk away from there because something about the. Anyways, so 27, 25. This number keeps popping up. 25, the divine number. 2 and a 5 is 7. Double 7. So it's a double 77 code, double divinity in this, okay? This is another commerce that sells refurbished appliances. We won't call them used, we'll call them refurbished. And what they do is they buy lots of returns or defected appliances, and then they have a guy named Denis in the back. I think Denis is still working there. In fact, I came and said hello to Junior the other day, but I didn't see Denis. Anyways, if you want refurbished appliances, here's a place to get it. So, why I'm bringing up the $50,000 and 10 windows? Because that is what the brother of a friend of mine paid to have a similar job done in his house. So at one point, me and my friend whose brother spent the big bucks to do said thing, sat down and tried to calculate how it's possible, where it's possible, how it is justifiable that a company will charge a homeowner or a property owner $50,000 to replace 10 windows on their property. And so we tried to do the math. So we made a lot of assumptions. Okay, we made a lot of assumptions. The first assumption was that each of the employees is paid $100 an hour. Okay? And there is an 8 hours in any day. So that's $800 per employee. How many guys did we say that? We said 5, right? So that's 5,000. I mean, we're assuming, right? We're rounding it up. We're going to round it up. 5,000 per day, and it's 3 days, so that's 15,000. Okay, so 50,000 minus 15,000, we're left with 35,000. Then he knows this, I know this. How much does a window cost? How much does a window cost? Well, let's call it $500. Okay. I'm sorry, pardon? Oh, okay. So let's assume, and we know this because I look for windows all the time, and you can find windows. Let's call them $500 a pop, okay? So 10 windows, that's another 5,000. So where are we at? We're at 20,000 in costs, including the labor, which they say is 80% of the cost in any renovation project. So we're at 20,000, 50 minus 20, so we're at 30. But 30,000, where does the 30,000 go? I mean, even if you pay them $200 an hour, that's 30,000 plus another. So where does but you get my point. So, and it just, I know why people do that. I'll explain to you why property owners do such a thing. Because, look at that. How pretty is that? Oh, wow, look at that. Makes me think of the purple flower. You know the story of the purple flower? Look at that. That's so nice. I think I'm gonna pick one for my house. No, I shouldn't, because this is private property. Anyways, that's really lovely. Look at that. With the birds singing. So, can someone please, if you're watching this video and you know anything about construction and renovations and costs of these sort of things, where did the $30,000 remaining after we've paid each employee $100 an hour? Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Look at that. That's a good one. Hey, that's fun. That's so fun. That's so fun. Where did the $30,000 go? I'll tell you where. It went to the company. Now, of course, we're gonna just assume that the 50,000 includes the tax, okay? So minus 15%, so the government's getting, what's 10% of 15% of 50,000? That's 15,000. So there, the government takes their 15,000 off of that transaction. So that's left with another 15,000 for the company to put towards their own enhancement. So now, why do people do that? Well, people do that because they want a guarantee. Actually, no, I'll tell you why people do that. There's an even easier explanation for it. There's an even easier reason It makes sense, okay? When an individual wants to spend $50,000 on changing windows on their property, what do? They go to the bank, and the bank says, okay, Mr. Smith, you've owned your property now for 15 years, and the property has gone up in value, and we understand you have to make upgrades and renovations, there's upkeep, so we understand that you need the money. That's perfectly good, and we're very willing to give you. How much do you need? Well, Mr. Smith says to Mr. Bank Manager, I called Ports et Fenêtres Verdun, and they quoted me 50,000. Perfect. Okay, we can totally do that based on your. Okay, how much you have left on your mortgage? How much you pay? Okay, perfect. We'll give you an advance. We'll call it. We'll give you a line of credit. Actually, no, they won't give you a line of credit because you still have a mortgage. So we'll just tack it onto your mortgage. We'll loan you $50,000 so you can do the upgrades. And just to be clear, yes, we have the money for you, but we're going to send it directly to Ports et Fenêtres Verdun. And that's how such an assault against homeowners and property owners is, in fact, institutionally perpetuated. like what was his name? It's late. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm walking around giving you a tour of my property, my neighborhood, so I can't be expected to remember everybody's name, but he said it's a big club and you ain't in it. So that's that. A little insight into how homeowners and property owners are regularly swindled by corporations, of course, into expending huge sums of money that are ultimately created out of thin air by the banks, who are an extension of the government, who in that transaction will make $15,000 plus or minus. We round it up, we round it down, you get the point. Since I have been involved in this business for the better part of 8 years, I myself have learned a great deal about how it works. And in fact, earlier on today, I had to deal with the results or the consequences of very shoddy contractor work. I blame myself, of course, because I was the individual responsible for finding and hiring. And oh, what do I have? I have hey, some shelves are available. Yes, I'm interested. Where are you located? This is the first question one must ask when engaging in a marketplace purchase. Oh, I'll get into marketplace next, okay? But let me finish my train of thought here. I blame myself naturally all the time, because from every action there is a reaction. And look at that, isn't that lovely? I'm seeing a lot of rose bushes the last few days, weeks. Ever since about 2 months ago, I saw a house that had a rose bush right in front and a pink door. I've just been seeing them more and more. So let's just do that. So I was, as a project manager and property operator, renovator myself. 8 years of experience. Let's not get run over. I've learned about a thing or two when it comes to renovations and buildings and how companies or contractors operate in this field. And I've heard all kinds. Myself, I have experienced all kinds. And I recently experienced one that, in fact, at this point, for the first time in my life, I will do something that I never imagined I would do, which is contact the contractor that I recently hired for a project and request. It'll be a request. You can't demand things. I will request that he refunds partially, if not entirety, the entirety of the sum he was paid to do a job recently. That this evening I had to deal with. In fact, I blame myself, okay? And really, in the end, you say, you gotta blame yourself. Don't, like my mother always says, you point the finger one way and the thumb's always pointing back at you. So yes, I take full responsibility. However, what I experienced in the last 48 hours vis-a-vis said contractor job and said renovation project has brought me to a new level of not only understanding but reaction. And I shall be, within the next 24 hours, calling said contractor, requesting a sit down where I will show the work that he and his contractors did. Very similar, in fact, to just what I was talking about, Ports of Finette. Now, it's one thing, going back to Ports of Finette. Let's say you pay the company the $50,000, they're professional, and the windows aren't well installed, they leak. Well, I would think, one would assume that at least a reputable company with an RBQ and a CSSQ and all those good acronyms that what's the term? Protects the homeowner from being swindled. One would assume that they would come and do the job, redo the job properly, or whatever, one would assume. However, when you're dealing with certified people, I think he claims to be certified. The contractor in question claims to be certified. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he is certified. So what is the recourse if a client is not happy or feels that they did not receive the service that they paid? Do they have the right to request not only the money back, but also request damages? Now that would be going too far, because to request damages, you gotta involve the knot milk in it. You gotta go to court. I don't got time for that. I'm gonna do what the right thing to do is, which is speak to the individual, invite him to the property, and together we will observe, look at it, see the results of, if you notice it's raining, so you can guess what and why I had to rush back at 2 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it was 2:02 when I looked at the clock when I got to the property, which is also very symbolic on this day. And I will request that he refunds in the entirety, if not at least partially, because I am aware that he hired some individuals to help him complete the task, and those individuals should not be held accountable for their employers' mishaps. Now, is it a lack of experience? I would say yes. Is it a lack of Giving a shit? I would say definitely yes. Is it a form of hit and run? I would say yes. And on this the day, here today, I, established 1983, say no mas. It's a good one. 7 keeps coming back, eh? No mas. So with all due respect, I shall say to this gentleman, I think it's only appropriate that you reimburse us, the clients, myself, and the people I represent, the entirety, if not the majority, of what was paid. So, and it's too bad because I really like the guy. I got a very good feeling from him. In fact, from what he showed me of his portfolio of work, I said, wow, okay, I finally met a young guy with all the skills, with all the abilities. I mean, we've done bathrooms. He showed me balconies that he did. I mean, wow, okay, you're the guy. So how did that happen? How did someone with that much experience, clearly, he just did them. He showed me on his phone the photos. That's what contractors do. They show you on their phone. They say, look, 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 look. And then they give you a price. And of course, me being who I am, I lowered that price. And then me being also who I am, I said, okay, fine, fair enough. That's, to me, that's the most we're willing to pay because I am aware of what the job entails. I could do it myself. In fact, I haven't, but I have the enough experience to take on such a task. However, my, oh, look at that. Look at that. How many is that so far? How many is that so far? I'm gonna take one just for posterity. Just for posterity, I'm gonna take this one. Oh, sorry. Look at that. Huh? Look at that beaut. And look, another one. Ooh. Very nice. And we'll see what happens because I genuinely do like the guy. I got a connection for a young fella from an African nation. So, you know, us Africans, we like to support each other. Like the you-know-who's like to support each other. I said, let me emulate the you-know-who's and support. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Wow, good for you. If that's not a Zen arrangement, front yard, 21, 24, 36. Look at that, with a fountain and everything. Look at that. Ah, oh, so nice. In fact, that's my inspiration for you-know-where. Look at this guy. Oh, look at this guy. Look at that tree. Look at that tree with the vines all over it. In fact, these streets, okay, these are all very, very old townhouses, okay? Very, very old ones. And back here you have a brand new condo, and here you have original townhouses that have obviously been not only maintained but probably completely redone and refurbished. However, the only critique I have of this place is the black door. People like the black door, but you need to understand, and this is a homage to I see a red door and I want to paint it black. What does that mean? I'll tell you what that means right here, right now. The red door represents, you ready for this? What does the red door in that song, what is the red door in that song referring to? Ah, look at this, another one. Another rose bush. I mean, it's just roses after roses. Roses! Look at that. So pretty. At the 33. So the red door represents, there you go, another black door. Let's see if we can find a red door on this walk while it's raining again. That's great. Gotta love the rain. Another black door. The red door represents financial freedom from debt slavery vis-à-vis par rapport ta maison, ton propriété. Propriété. All right, translation. The red door symbolizes a mortgage-free house. So what does that mean? I see a red door and I want to paint it black. Well, are you in the red or are you in the black? Well, it's like the lions. You know, the Italians like to put the lions on their front lawn or what have you. And that too represents that you have paid off your mortgage and you are debt-free and you own your house outright, and therefore your insurance is 20% less. But you probably wouldn't know that if you get to that point, and therefore the insurance company would never tell you, oh, by the way, you just finished, you know, I mean, let's put it this way. And you've seen it in the movies, right? They celebrate, they buy an expensive bottle of champagne, and they say, honey, we did it. Took us 25 years, but we finally did it. We now own our house. The bank loaned us $250,000 25 years ago. And 25 years later, we have cleared our obligation to them and their generous loan that they gave us and returned in fact, $1 million. But that's okay, honey, that's okay. We didn't have the $250,000 to begin with, but thank you. Now, in that moment when said Mr. Smith says to Mrs. Smith, look at that. Hey, a little garden, a little veggie garden. That's nice. Nice setup. Very nice setup. And what do you know? They have a red door. Oop, I'm stepping onto someone's property. I'm not going to do that. In fact, seems like the kind of guy that really takes pride in what he does, whoever owns this property. And he himself chose to put a red door. So how appropriate is that? A red bin to grow your lettuce in. Very nice lettuce, by the way. Look at that lettuce. Wow, what do we have? We got romaine. We got, is there iceberg? No. Is that iceberg? No, I don't think that's iceberg. We got some tomatoes. Oh, we got some, what is that, mint? Mint, perhaps. Some more tomatoes that are flowering. Very nice. Nice setup. Good job, buddy. In that moment while Mr. Oh, here's another person with, that's a cute little one. And the reason it's covered like that is so that the squirrels do not get to it, which they absolutely love doing. And someone told me that the reason squirrels chew off the flowers or chew off fruits or whatever is because they're thirsty. So if you would like to avoid the squirrels getting into your vegetation of all sorts, all you got to do is put a little bucket of water, or a little jar, a little saucer of water, and they will have water there to drink. They love the tulips because the tulips are really succulent, and as you know, most flowers are edible. So if the squirrels can eat them, so can we. Such as daisies. Which way do we go? Left or right? I don't even know where we are. Let's go right, because we haven't gone that way yet. So, in the moment that Mr. and Mrs. Smith are celebrating their escape from financial slavery, are they going to receive a phone call from Dumoulin or any other insurance company to say, congratulations, Mr. or Mrs. Smith? I see here in my files that I just got a memo from the National Bank of Canada that you have finished paying off your mortgage. Congratulations, I got good news for you, Mr. or Mrs. Smith. Your insurance is now 20% less. You think that's gonna happen? Of course not. Why would they? It's kind of like when you call Bell, or you call Bell. Oops, I accidentally pressed the wrong button. It's like when you call Bell or you call Videotron and you tell them, you know what, I've decided to cancel my service with you guys. For whatever reason, you know, God forbid you tell them, I'm not happy with the service. In fact, this is one strategy. Say, I'm not happy with your service, so I've decided to go to Virgin. What the agent who takes your call is going to say will be the following. Oh, Mr. Jones, well, I tell you what, I understand we recently just upgraded to 5 General Optics, and I understand that I understand how you feel. However, I am able, right here today, Mr. Jones, able to offer you, instead of $133 for your services, I will lower that. I will cut that in half. Oh, that's hard. That's hard maths. Okay, instead of $140, hey, yo, 7's all around. Yellow. Huh. Oh, this is a nice little, look at this little property. Tucked in right in between 2 buildings. You got this little stone house in the end with all, oh, that's so lovely. There's a lot of very charming properties in this neighborhood. I will cut your current bill from $140 a month, that's tax included, to $70 a month. Oh, you can do that. Of course, Mr. Jones, I can do that. For you, you've been a loyal customer with us for 7 years, I see. Wow, hold on, let me check. Wow, look at that. You joined us February 7th, 2025. That's, no, 2025 doesn't make sense. Come on, you gotta get the maths right. 2018, you've been a loyal customer since February the 7th, 2018. So for you, Mr. Jones, I'm able to do that. No, I don't. No, you know what? No, I don't. You know what, Mr. Jones? How about this? How about 66? I mean, you're gonna do that. You're gonna give me home internet, TV, the TV package that always blocks out every time your satellites are clouded up. Satellites. that's the age. Yes. Okay. And the cell phone that I have for me and my wife. You're gonna make it $66. You know what? I'll do even better than that. We're gonna make it $50, and I'll throw in, if you know, I see you're currently not with us on the cell phone plan. No, you are. You are. You get the point. No, such a thing will never happen. Such a conversation will never occur because it just doesn't happen. In fact, we live in a world, unfortunately, where it seems more and more so that the majority of people operate with very, very loose moral integrity. And because, as the expression goes, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, when you participate in such assaults against humanity, ultimately, you yourself are implicit in the repercussions of the karma that comes with that. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. You got a Vendu sign. I'm going to take you to one of, I believe it's 2, if not 3, legal, as they put it, legal graffiti walls in Montreal. Came here for the first time when I moved into the neighborhood 2021, circa 2021. A friend of mine showed it to me, and so I brought my son numerous times, and he and myself have participated in defiling or rather artifying this section. And so what happens is, because it's a legal wall, things get painted over and replaced all the time. See if there's any good ones. I mean, this one I don't think will ever get painted over unless I choose to do it, which I could, in fact. What does it say? What does it say? Calm. It says calm. Kalam or Malak? No, what does it say? Let's read it together. It's K-A-C-A-M. So it's either macaque. It's macaque. Macaque. Nice one, Mr. Macaque. So, what do we have there? Oh, that's cute. Alice Gobale. Nice one, Alice Gobale. But everything else, as you can see, will eventually get painted over. What is this guy? Cream. Cash rules everything around me. How appropriate. Yes. Cream 2024. Wow, it's lasted this long. For sure, Cream. Reps 1001. GNO. Who's this guy? What is he doing? Flavor. There's Flavor. Flavor sticks up these pieces of wood. In fact, you know, he sticks them up, he screws them in. So Flavor got all the way up there, probably on a ladder, and screwed that guy into the ceiling. In fact, I think I shall do the same. And this guy was really, really hardcore. I mean, he did it in the middle of the street. Mr. Popsicle Man did it in the middle of the street. Look at that. This guy, can't even read it, but looks fun. Huh? And what do we have here? Another guy that Suez. This is well done. Look at that. The shading is very well done. Clearly a very skilled artiste. This one is also very beautiful, with the subliminal skull at the top. I mean, why you always got to throw the death stuff and the dark stuff into it, eh? What's going on there? Anyways, I'm getting tired. Oh, look at that! Okay. So here, let me zoom in so we can see this together. Okay, that's so good. Look at that. All right. If you could tell me what that is, I mean, I can see what that is, but if you can tell me what that is, I'll send you a gold sticker in the mail. So yeah, Montreal for ya. Oh, got some. Let's see. The AI is trying to find a face. There you go. Can you find the face? Wow, it's that realistic that you can actually find a face. Good for you, Mr. AI in the cell phone. That one's cool too. I didn't see that side. Let's take a look at that guy. Okay. Hey, there you go. Of course. Of course. 7:25. I mean, of course. Of course. Then we have the dog. A lot of 7/7s. The Zion, the mind weapon. Let's see if it picks up this guy. It's picking up this gal here with the little square thingy that. Ah, there it is. No? It picks it up, but then it doesn't. Let's see. Let's see if it gets close. Did someone just come along and put some tears in his eyes? It's coming out of the wrong place. Should have put it a little lower. What do we have here? We have a little, what is it called? I forget what the name for that is, but. So, anywho. Yeah, we live in a time when stealing, ultimately, or ripping off, or hustling other individuals, other human beings, one form of another, in one form or another, is not only encouraged, but it's rewarded. At the end of the year, Ports and Verdun will get an award at some ceremony celebrating great companies and their achievements. Anyway, I think look at this guy, EQE 350. EQE 350. Should have bought more cigarettes because I seem to be running out. But oof, how many do I have? How many do I have? I got 3 cigarettes left, and the walk back to where I came from. Why don't you go back to where you came from? So I hope you were able to receive some inspiration from this video. If not, perhaps you learned a thing or two about a thing or two. And on our way back to where we came from, we will try to accomplish one task, which is to locate a red door. I know there's a few in this neighborhood. I've seen them before. I always spotted them out. But we'll try and do it together right before I wrap it up and call it a day, or a night, or a day and a night. And it was. So it was. You can see there's art everywhere in the city, and if we are graced with a red door, it would be a very nice way of closing this video. Here's a new build going up by Architecture Casa, Group CDH. There's your RBQ. Oh, there it is. Jarco Construction. There's the RBQ number, folks. There's the email address if you wish to. You got the triple squares, triple diamante. And if you don't know anything, I'll tell you this: the diamante equals 33. Diamante. I wonder if diamante, the word diamante, actually equals 33, because the word diamond does equal 33. This individual is growing vegetables out of paint buckets that you can buy for, I believe, $2 a pop, or 3 or 4, maybe 5 at Home Depot, Canadian Tire, and places of the such. So this, and the individuals who reside in this building have decided to go that route, which is great. Good for you. They also have a little greenhouse type thingy. It's a good one, which I plan on constructing myself once I have some time. Look at these guys. How pretty are those? And they go pretty much wild in Montreal. Ah, another new build or new renovation, or perhaps they're just these guys. Here we go. Look. There's an appropriate one. I wonder how much. Oh, come on. Get in there so we can see it. Fenêtre La Jeunesse. Pour la vie. For life. Great, that's their guarantee. How many we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just 6 on this side. I wonder how many are on the back. I would assume another 4, at least, maybe 6. So there you have your $60,000 for that job. That's okay. Just tack it on. Tack it on. Got another build going up here. I mean, it's mind-boggling, really, with the supposed shortage of affordable housing in a place like Montreal. It's incredible how many brand new properties are going up everywhere. Truly. We got some old school white doors. We got some more black doors. Sure. 2304. That's your double 77 right there. We got these ones. I kind of like how they went with it. They went with the white windows, and they did this sort of wood finish here with like a wood kind of colored door. It's nice. I can dig it. And look, I'm curious. I will check later. We'll check together. In fact, I'll do a what's the address? The address is 2314. We'll do a check together to see what a condo at 2314 is gonna cost ya. A white door. Oh, it seems. All right, so this guy's a fun one. This is a fun one. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Ah, okay, I found it. We finally found it. So I'm going to end with this and then close it off with this. Okay, so this property right here. Okay. It's a great one because I recently saw the listing about a year ago, and as you can see, the sign has been removed. So it was sold. I believe they were asking $1 million or around, in and around that. So what it is a single family home. So it's one address, one unit. You can tell from the blinking Ring doorbell that they obviously are concerned about security. So they actually, what they did, so at some point in time, some people, I would assume the previous owners, that's why they sold it for $1 million. They bought this building, okay, tucked in between this building and this building. And they decided to convert what was originally, I'm assuming, I will assume, because this one is that, and that one is also that. What is that one? So this one is a triplex, Is that a triplex? We have 3 units, 3 addresses. Yeah, triplex. And that is a duplex. 2340, 2342. So yes, this at one point was a triplex. You'll notice the number is 2334. So there was 2334 on this floor, and above there was, once upon a time, 2336 and 2338. And what they did is they gutted it and they turned it into a single family home. So at the time when they did that, they probably paid, I don't know, let's call it 200, 300, max 400,000 for this property. Yeah, I'm sure it's years ago. I can't confirm, but I'm sure if I call my friend Philippe, he can tell me the lowdown on this. You see, it's always good to have a real estate agent friend, quote unquote, because they can actually access what is actually public information. You can also access public information, and it's all public information. If I want to find out who owns 2342 or 2340, I can do that. I go to City Hall and I look at the records, and they will tell me so and so Jean-Pierre Lafleur bought this building in 1975 for X amount. And Jean-Luc over here bought this building around the same time, probably maybe more like the 90s. I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe the 90s, early 2000s even, when you could really buy properties for peanuts. And then Jean-Pierre over here decided to turn it into a single family home. So I would guess if it's the 1990s, he probably paid $250,000 for this building, and 30 years later sold it for $1 million plus or minus. It's a good one. And that's how it's done. So Tim, if you're watching, that's how it's done. It's called revenue enhancement. You buy a property, different models, different ways to skin a cat, and you renovate it, you enhance it, and then you sell it or generate revenue from it forevermore. Ha! Finally, we'll end on this. Ah, finally. I knew there was one down here somewhere. The red door. And what do you know? I too am wearing a red t-shirt, because I, just like this property, symbolically speaking at least, it probably is not the case, am mortgage free and debt free and don't owe nothing to no institution of any kind. Triple red door. So on that note, in that tone, thank you for spending the time with me today and doing a walkthrough of this property. Mr. Alexander Gomez has been trying to sell this property for the better part of about 6 months. I looked at it. I think they're asking for around 500,000, 540, something like that. Built in 1920, so technically speaking a Montreal heritage property, which is a big pain in the you-know-what to purchase and renovate, because it falls under heritage. And if you want to do any renovations or changes on any building that is considered heritage, 100 years or more, you need to go through the official chains. You can't even remove a nail without asking for permission on a heritage site, heritage property. Okay, so stationnement interdit. I know how you feel, buddy. I know how you feel. On that note, in that tone, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will gladly respond to one and all. Okay? Merci. Bonjour. And have a good day.